Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Forced to Marry Will, with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's marriage being the top subject when it comes to scandals over the last year. It's left us all wondering when Jada might just stop, grow up, and stop making jabs at her husband in an attempt to embarrass him any further. When the actress's reaction after the Oscar ceremony in 2022 was to condemn her husband for slapping Chris Rock, the incident led the press to review previously published content around the couple. And a video then re-emerged from 2018, where in it, Jada could be seen stating that she never wanted to get married and she was forced to marry Will because she was pregnant. The video would actually turn out to be an episode from her Red Table Talk podcast, which featured her, Will, their daughter Willow, and Jada's mother. In the interview, Jada would say she was under so much pressure and she didn't know what to do, but her mother forced her to marry Will. Number 9. Substance use. Back in 2021, Jada would candidly detail her past issues with substances and alcohol, where she would say that she was a walking miracle after kicking her addictions. During her Red Table Talk, Jada would open up about how she used to combine wine with other forms of substances when she developed a tolerance to solely drinking. She would then go on to say, "I wasn't doing things that I thought were addictive, but I would do those 3 together. That was my cocktail. Your threshold becomes so high that what it takes for you to get to the place you need to get to, it will take me 2 bottles to get to, okay? If I do substances with alcohol at the same time, I get there faster and I can keep the feeling going." Jada then said she went cold turkey one day after she had a health scare on the set of the 1996 The Nutty Professor, as she passed out on set and made a total fool of herself. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Comments about the Oscars. Just when the confrontation that happened between Will Smith and Chris Rock had become one of the most discussed topics around the world, a lot of people had their say on the comedian's joke and the actor's decision to respond by slapping the comedian. And if things couldn't get any better, Jada Pinkett Smith then broke her silence on the issue when she chose to write a message on her social media account saying, "This is a season for healing and I'm here for it." Though Jada didn't say anything during the controversial moment, she did, however, make sure she was in the center of it going forward, as she claimed that she hoped Will and Chris could eventually heal and reconcile one day, and that she never forced her husband to slap Chris. Her and Will were moving forward and were going to focus on their lives. But it all just seemed a little too sus, and she shouldn't have said anything, and she should have just more supported her husband through this hard time. Number 7. Dealing with Tupac. Even decades after his passing, people still have questions about what his relationship was with Jada Pinkett Smith, especially since Jada once said, "When we first met, I was a dealer. That's how we started." The actor then went on to say that something very bad made her leave that life behind. But while she was getting out, she was getting further involved with Tupac, and her relationship turned into a survival moment, as she even once had to bail out the rapper for $100,000. Their friendship still raises eyebrows today, especially since Will Smith admitted to being jealous of the late rapper, as in his mind he was tortured by their connection because Jada loved Pac, and this rendered him to the point he couldn't even be friends with Pac when he was still alive. Number 6. The Matrix controversy. The Matrix franchise is well known for revolutionizing the cinema world with its stunning visuals and graphics. From the very release of the first movie, The Matrix made an everlasting impact on the souls of the audience, with the franchise being represented well by Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. Did you know that the hit duo actually could have been represented by celebrity couple Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith? But since Will Smith refused to play the hit character of Neo in the blockbuster franchise, as the actor was in no mood to shoot another Alien movie after Independence Day, Jada Pinkett Smith would fail to be selected for the role, and she blames it on Will, as she didn't have any chemistry with Reeves, which resulted in her to lose the role. So it goes on to show that she just has trouble connecting with other people on set when they aren't her friend or family members. The actress did, however, go on to grab a role in the franchise after she lied about not being pregnant. Number 5. Her love for Tupac. Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac both met at Baltimore School of Arts in Maryland in the late 1980s, and they became close friends. And in the past, Jada has tried to say that the two weren't involved romantically, but we all know that's a lie. And almost a month after Will Smith and Chris Rock's altercation, an interview with Jada and Tupac's friends started to resurface resurface on the internet, and in the interview, Tupac's friend would state that Tupac had a lot of love and lots of respect for Jada. However, they then went on to claim that there was this time where he witnessed Tupac become extremely upset by something Jada said to him. When they went on to say, the second time I had probably heard him talk about her is when he went to LA. He was very upset, you know what I mean? Pop came out of the room and was like, Jada had gone contact me and tell me don't do nothing with Will Smith. Over the years, it seems like Jada has never been shy to share her love that she had for Tupac. As for what would have been his 50th birthday party, she went on to share a never before seen poem that he gave her. And it's clear at the end of the day she still loves him, and that's probably why she causes Will so much problems. Number 4, too full of herself. When the Los Angeles Times caught up with Hubert to ask her to clarify her criticism of Jada, Hubert would claim that Jada and her husband clearly needed to get over themselves when she said, "You ain't all that, you're not kings and queens, you're not royalty, you're simply entertainers." But that's clearly not how the Smiths see it. Vivica A. Fox once even fought back tears as she spoke about Jada Pinkett Smith's remarks about her husband smacking Will Smith at the Academy Awards in 2022, when the actress said on an episode of Wendy Williams' show that Jada took no accountability for her role in the incident on her Red Table Talk. Fox then went on to explain she believes Jada played a part in the incident when she said, "Will was defending her honor. That's the reason he walked on the stage and slapped, because he felt like his wife had been offended." She then went on to note that because Jada took no accountability, it made her seem so self-righteous and full of herself. Number 3, Scientology school. At one point in time, Jada Pinkett Smith forced her husband to help her open a school in one of their homes called the New Village Leadership Academy. With the school shutting down just a couple of years after being open, it would only shut down as people started to point out that the school was really revolved around the controversial Scientology religion. With the Smiths denying that the allegations that the school was in fact a Scientology school, employees who were employed within the school have stated that the curriculum did in fact revolve around Scientology technology, methodology that Scientology utilizes. It also didn't help that the school's staff included plenty of Scientologists, as the former director of learning, director of qualifications, artistic director, and the 2009 school administrators were all confirmed to be Scientologists. Number 2, the affair. It seems like just after the whole world was done talking about Jada's affair with her son's friend August Alsina, it would be brought out again after new details were released to the public earlier this month. As after August watched Chris Rock's Netflix special, he told the Post he thought it was not only funny, but it was also truthful. And that was the best part for him. So when Rock finally went public about his thoughts about being slapped by Will Smith at the 2022 Oscars in his Netflix comedy special Selective Outrage, he would speculate that Smith only smacked him not over his joke about Jada's baldness, but because he was unleashing built-up anger he had over his wife's affair. A source would then confirm that August was happy to see Chris Rock advocating the truth, as everyone has been against him since the whole affair was exposed. And considering Jada downplayed their relationship with her son's friend for 4 years, Will was led to believe that nothing was going on until she embarrassed him on the Red Table Talk, and since Hollywood has been wondering what kind of woman she exactly is, because she's not normal, that's for sure. And coming in number 1 today, we have Not in Demand. After a promising breakout performance as Maureen in the 1997 film Scream 2, Jada's career looked to be heading in the right direction, but then it was stalled in the following years to come after she gained a role in the film Woo. Variety described it as being an unfunny comedy that brought out the worst in just about everybody involved in the film. In years to come, Jada was only able to land supporting roles, but her record with critics has been spotty at best. Despite her best efforts, studios have not been keen on casting her as a leading lady, and the only successful role she's been able to gain a leading role is for her voice work as Gloria on the animated film franchise Madagascar. She even did a really bad job playing Fish Mooney in Fox's DC crime drama Gotham. Starting off our list today in the number 10 spot, we have Toxic. Toxic femininity is usually less obvious than when you compare it to toxic masculinity, because much of it is masked by the display of insincere emotions, with Jada showing a history of passive aggression, backstabbing, display of jealousy, defaming other men or women, and using people to take an unfair advantage. She has been applauded by her bad behavior, as people have labeled her to be empowering. Throughout her marriage, Jada has claimed that she was forced forced to get married, and that she was crying when she had to walk down the aisle at 3 months pregnant with her first child. Within her relationships, the toxic femininity translates to emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse. Her overall behavior has even caused generational damage, and she needs to work on herself and heal her life so her children can understand what a healthy relationship is. Number 9. Clash with Snoop Dogg. In the wake of Kobe's passing in 2020, Jada Pinkett Smith wasn't afraid to call out Snoop Dogg over his comments towards Gayle King, and in the process she started a difficult conversation about misogyny after King mentioned a woman accused Kobe of unwanted advancements. Snoop then posted a video on his Instagram where he talked about the issues, and in it he insulted King's appearance before telling her, "Back off, B, before we come get you." As a result, Jada brought the rapper on her Red Table talk show to try to clear the air, where she would say, "When you first came out and said what you said, you know, in regards to Gayle, my heart dropped." Jada then explained to her old friend that when he said what he said, she felt hurt on behalf of all women. Snoop did end up apologizing to King after Jada embarrassed him on her show by taking to his Instagram to say, "When you're wrong, you gotta fix it. I was raised way better than that, so I would like to apologize to you publicly for the language that I used, calling you out of your name and just being disrespectful." But did Jada really have to embarrass him? Because this could have just been a private conversation between friends. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have poor communication. During an episode of the Red Table Talk back in 2018, Will revealed that he had some pretty poor communication with Jada when they got into arguments, as she just likes to raise her voice and curse him out instead of speaking about their issues like normal people. Will then brought up a significant moment that launched their communication when he said that they were playing Pictionary with 20 other people, and this included Will's son Trey from his previous marriage. Will had his son on his lap, and at the time he was only 1 or 2 years old, and Jada cursed him out in front of everyone by saying, "Will, would you shut the F up?" It got so bad that Will even had to bring her into another room to explain to Jada that because of his upbringing, he didn't wish to be in a relationship that involved the use of profanities and violent language. Number 7, the controversial podcast. When it comes to the Red Table Talk, it's definitely a one-of-a-kind talk show that features a one-of-a-kind family. While the show was created with good intentions, as the family just wanted to create a safe space where they could talk about some pretty weird topics, the conversations have become real, raw, unfiltered conversations, where not only the family has exposed their darkest secrets, but other celebrities as well. And while the show has gone on to gain quite an impressive fan base, the in-depth conversations have become pretty controversial when it comes to the hot button issues that are discussed, and it has hurt Jada's career to the point she can't even get casted in anything, and she really hasn't worked on anything since her role in the Scream franchise. Number 6, the open marriage. The Smiths have received a lot of scrutiny over their marriage, especially since Jada addressed the rumors surrounding it in 2009 when she told Atlanta's Q100, "I've heard all the things. Their marriage is not real. He's gay, she's gay. They swing." The actor then dismissed the idea that they had anything to prove. Then in an interview later with US Weekly, she would add on to her claims by adding that people are going to think whatever they wanted, and it was too hard to be in a pretend marriage. In recent years, however, they have admitted that they have an unconventional approach to their marriage, as when it comes to their relationships, they have chosen monogamy. On top of that, they've given each other trust and freedom with the belief that everybody has to find their own way, and they do this so their marriage just doesn't feel like a prison. But honestly, it just sounds like this was all Jada's choosing. Number 5, can't take a joke. The biggest talking point from the Oscars in 2022 was the fact that Will Smith took to the stage to smack Chris Rock after he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's appearance. When Rock was presenting the award for Best Documentary, he would say, "Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you." While everyone in the crowd went on to laugh, including her husband Will, when Jada was seen rolling her eyes and scrutinizing her husband for laughing at the joke that hits hard to home as she has been struggling with alopecia. As soon as Will seen her clasping her hands together and giving Rock and him a disappointed sideways look, Will would be forced to take the stage to defend his wife's name and image stage so he wouldn't have to go home and hear Tupac would have never done that to me, so why did you? But instead she forced him to embarrass himself and end his career, and that's why Hollywood just can't get over it. Chris is known to roast people. You could have just simply roasted him back. Number 4. Stole Will away from his ex-wife. So before Will and Jada actually got married, Will Smith was in a previous relationship with Sherry Fletcher. And apparently before he and his ex-wife split, Jada actually started dating him. She even admitted to being a homewrecker when she said, "Because I did not understand marriage, I did not understand divorce. I probably should have fallen back," but she obviously didn't fall back as she just kept making advancements. During the process, she then became pretty standoffish when it came to his ex-wife over time, and at one point, Will even had to put her in her place over the issue, after she had an argument with Fletcher over the phone. Will was not happy with Jada, and Jada would later say his take was that this is my son Trey's mother, and that's not your place, but Jada did make sure she wanted to put Fletcher in her place by making a point that she was the one and Fletcher was not. Number 3. Treated like a peasant. Did you know that Will Smith once took 3 years to plan a super extravagant birthday party for Jada's 40th birthday? And instead of appreciating the thought and the gesture that he took, she was less than pleased about her husband's gift. When Will was super happy about all the hard work he put in trying to make it the best gift for Jada, she was underwhelmed and lashed out at Will to the point it made him hit a low point in his life. Will went to great lengths when he planned Jada's birthday, and he even hired an orchestra and a documentary team to trace Jada's family roots. While most people would appreciate the gesture, Jada would claim that the whole thing was actually just a party that showed off Will's ego. And while Will continued to go on to treat his wife like a queen that night, she just went on to show him that he was just a peasant. That's just really sad. Number 2. Hates women. Jada's never been afraid to be vocal, especially when it comes to her Red Table talk show. In one episode, the world saw Jada note that she found it difficult to be interested in having relationships with white people, when she addressed that she was biased when it came to white women, especially if they had blonde hair, mostly because of bullying she was subjected to in school. She then went on to say, "I have to admit, I'm guilty to that to a certain degree because I do have my own biases, specifically to blonde women. Blonde hair on white women triggers me. I've had to catch myself." She then went on to address that she realized her own hypocrisy as she stated that her past didn't give her the right to put all blonde women in the same category, but she was still going to continue doing it anyways. And coming in number 1 today, we have disrespectful. So when a clip resurfaced, it would show Jada Pinkett Smith underwhelmed reaction to a surprise birthday party Will Smith planned for 3 years, and the video would have the internet divided. When Jada's 37th birthday was over, Will took it upon himself to throw an extravagant birthday for her 40th birthday party. But when that date finally hit, things didn't go as well as Will was expecting things to go. In fact, her reaction was not ideal, and it made Will hit a low point in his life. Jada then ripped Will apart later on her Red Table talk show when she told the actor she was going through a midlife crisis and she thought his gesture was just a ridiculous display of his ego. She felt like the party just wasn't for her. Everyone felt like Jada's response was rude and disrespectful as he treated her like a queen and she really just ended up treating him like a peasant. Coming in at number 10, we have The Affair. The world was completely shocked when R&B singer August Alsina came forward to admit that he has had an affair with Jada Pinkett Smith in 2015. What was even more shocking is that when August sat down with The Breakfast Club for an interview with Angela Yee, he would say, "I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership. He gave me his blessing." August then went on to insist that he hasn't done anything to be ashamed of and that he loved the Smiths, before saying, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly, really deeply love and have a ton of love for her. I devoted myself to it." Then many people started to claim that Jada has taken advantage of August since he was in a vulnerable time in his life, as the singer was only 22 and he was struggling with his health due to an autoimmune condition that left him hospitalized on multiple occasions. One inside source would even also reveal to Page 6 that when Jada said she was mentoring August through it all, she was only really destroying him. Number 9. The forced open marriage. The Smiths have received a lot of scrutiny when it comes to their marriage, especially in 2009. Jada Pinkett Smith went on to address all the rumors that surrounded it. In an interview with Atlanta Q100, Jada would say, "I've heard all the things from their marriage is not real, he's gay, she's gay, way they swing. She then went on to prove that the couple has nothing to prove when it comes to the relationship, and she also went on to tell HuffPost in 2013 that she and Will had no claim over each other's lives, and she also told Will that he could do whatever he wanted as long as he was able to look at himself in the mirror and be okay. In recent years, the pair has still continued to admit that they like to take an unconventional approach when it comes to their marriage. But for the most part, it seems like this is Jada's doing, as she wants to mess around with other people and Will doesn't want to lose her, so he sits back and lets his marriage crumble in the process. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in at number 8, we have Forced into a Cult. Although Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith have insisted they aren't Scientologists, it's kind of hard to believe anything they say when it comes to not being involved with the controversial religion for years. As a former ex-Scientologist member, Lee once told the Daily Beast back in 2017, "I know Jada's in. She's been in Scientology a long time. I never saw Will there, but I saw Jada at the Celebrity Center." Lee then went on to point out that Jada even forced her husband Will to allow her to open a school in one of their homes that was based on Scientology, and she even forced her own kids to go to that school before it shut down. With Jada opening the New Village Leadership Academy in 2008, the school only lasted about 5 years before it closed down. One of the academy's teaching staff even confirmed that they used L. Ron Hubbard's books and Scientology-affiliated study technology, and there's posters of him all around the school as well. Later, Lee even appeared on the Red Table Talk alongside Jada in 2018, where Jada said, "You're gonna learn all the religions, and then you gotta decide which one you want to practice. I always took the position I'm here at the Scientology Center to learn what I want to learn, and I had no interest in being a Scientologist." Number 7. Terrible overacting. I think we can all agree Gotham was a good show, but when they casted Jada as Fish Mooney, it was pretty annoying to watch her destroy the character. The only time she was actually ever tolerable on scene was when she stayed quiet most of the time. The way she just kept slipping into this British accent to "look at me, I'm bad" was just too cheesy and unbearable to listen to. Her acting was too over the top and camp, and any scenes with her in the show could have simply been cut out and the show still would have made sense, because the Batman universe technically doesn't necessarily need her character. Number 6. The Oscars. Although the 94th Academy Award should have been a memorable moment for Will Smith, he ended up making Oscar history for all the wrong reasons. Instead of the media talking about his talent and incredible win, Will sparked major controversy after he took to the stage to slap Chris Rock over the joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's balding head, with Chris comparing Jada to G.I. Jane due to her shaved head. While Will first went on to laugh at the joke, when his wife rolled her eyes and gave him hell for it, he took matters into his own hands and defended his wife like she wanted. Now, Jada has been open about her struggles with alopecia, to the point that she told her followers on Instagram in a video early in 2022 that all she could do is laugh when it came to the fact that she had a bald head. So the joke definitely came across a little too close to home, especially since in the past he already threw shots at the actress during the 2016 Oscars. Although she did end up saying that she didn't make him do it, she sure did have the power to stop him from leaving his seat in the first place. Number 5. Scientology affiliation. Reports have been stating for years now that Jada Pinkett Smith has had strong ties to the Church of Scientology. Although she has never publicly subscribed to the belief system, many sources have claimed that not only did she once practice Scientology, but she was also heavily involved in it. The information would come to light after a former Scientologist told the Daily Mail that not only was Jada a member, but she was also a recruiter who was paid to lure people into the church. The source also went on to say Jada was always around the Celebrity Center, doing things her own way with Kelly Preston in the president's office. Tony Ortega, who has extensively covered celebrity involvement in Scientology, also said on his blog, The Underground Bunker, "We have known for years that the dedicated Scientology in the family was Jada Smith, and Jada's alleged connections to Scientology did not stop there. In fact, they only appeared to get stronger over time, as she also went on to open a private school for the church in one of her homes." Number 4. The forced marriage. Not only has Jada gone on to roast Will Smith for his actions, but she's also shared in an episode on the Red Table Talk in 2018 that she cried while walking down the aisle on her wedding day because she never wanted to be married. In the video, Jada could be seen talking about her wedding day with Will Smith, and in it, she confessed that she did not want to be married, and she only ended up doing it because her mother forced her to get married because she got pregnant with Jaden while the two were still dating. The actress then went on to say, "It's almost as if Gammy was like, you're going to have have to get married, so let's talk about the wedding. I was under so much pressure, you know, being a young actress, and I was like pregnant. I was just like, I didn't know what to do, but I just knew. I was like, I never wanted to be married. She then went on to describe how horrible her wedding actually was, but how can you sit here and tell a man that you never wanted to get married to him and that your mom made you do it, as you control your own actions by this time in your life, not your mother. Number 3, Chris Rock. Before everything happened at the 2022 Oscars, Will and Jada Smith actually had history with Chris Rock, as Jada had been in a full-out feud with the comedian since the 90s, as their beef extends all the way back to 1997, when he took aim at Jada before she got married to Will on his late-night show called The Chris Rock Show. Rock would then begin his roast of Jada when he said, you know, at the Million Woman March, there were moving speeches from people like Maxine Waters, Winnie Mandela, and here are some inspirational words from the lovely Jada Pinkett. Chris then went on to cut a clip of Jada at the march where she says, I'm here today because this is an act of power, woman, okay? She then whittled down a joke where she yelled the lyrics of The Roof is on Fire instead of her speech. He then picked on her again at the 2016 Oscars over her activism. Chris Rock knew something was up with her from the beginning, and that's why a lot of people didn't want to work with her, because she's controversial even when she's trying to do something good. Number 2, she's salty. In an episode on the Red Table Talk, Jada would bring up how she's gotten hostile towards other women who have been disrespectful to her about Will Smith in their marriage. When Willow asked her mother about how she felt about the groupies around her dad, Jada would respond by saying, I really didn't. I know I was deterrent. Later on in an interview, she also went on to note that there was only like 1 or 2 times where I might have gotten a little hostile, where I felt like people stepped over a boundary and they were disrespectful. I know who I am, and more importantly, he knows who I am, right? It's clear Jada doesn't like other women trying to talk to Will, but yet she can have an affair on her husband and then go on to justify her actions over that said affair. Makes sense. And coming at number 1 today, we have Margot Robbie. Although Jada and Will have been married since 1997, it's clear she doesn't think her marriage is really strong, as she believes Margot Robbie could sweep in at any moment and steal her husband. Even though the couple is in an open marriage, Jada has defended her husband's public comments in appreciation for Margot in 2015, but those said comments have quickly become forgotten, as Jada once made a comment about how she harbors a racial bias towards white women with blonde hair, as they just seem to trigger her. Although she tried to claim that this was because she was bullied by blonde girls in school, it's clear that her comment was an indirect reference to her hostility towards Margot, as apparently Will acts like he's an unmarried man when he's around her. Now it's clear Margot and Will both have chemistry, just watch the movies they're in together, and they're definitely a couple people want to see get together, and this scares Jada to the point she won't stop causing trouble for Will. Starting off our list today in the number 10 spot, we have August Alsina. Social media users have not been going easy on Jada Pinkett Smith since she came clean about her relationship with August Alsina, and since she has been accused of taking advantage of August while he was in his most vulnerable state. It's clear that August never meant anything to Jada, as once she didn't need him anymore, she just tossed him away like he was trash. One person who definitely believes in this notion is Charlemagne, as he tore into Jada during a discussion about her revelation on The Breakfast Club, where he would state that he believes Jada should have used better judgment considering Alsina's age and mental state. When he said, August Alsina, that young man came to her broken, in need of healing, and her response is that I wanted to feel good. I haven't felt good in a long time, so you slept with him. Never mind what that young man is feeling, you know? You just gotta get yours. And that's just toxic behavior, and you kinda have to agree with that. Number 9, sneak diss Margot Robbie. So we all know Jada and Will have this weird marriage, however, with saying that it seems like only Jada can have other relationships with men, as she gets hostile towards any other female who even gets close to her husband. Despite her saying that she wants Will to date other women and explore like she has, it's clear if another woman even comes close to her husband, she secretly disses them and scrutinizes her husband for his unfaithfulness. Although the pair has had an unbreakable bond, when Margot Robbie came into the picture, Will and her started to make headlines for having this secret relationship. Jada soon became a little hostile and headed to her Red Table Talk show to call out the actor. On the show, she would note that she harbors a racial bias when it comes to white women with blonde hair. While the actor tried to blame it on the fact that she was bullied by girls like this in her school, it was clear that she was making an indirect reference to her hostility towards Margot Robbie because because she was scared she was going to steal her husband. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in at the number 8 spot, we have not good at solving problems. Jada once admitted that she was not as smart as she makes herself seem, as she's not exactly acing her test on problem solving. Her kids and husband have even had to teach her and make her realize that her life experiences can help her when it comes to solving certain problems. In an interview with E!, Jada would even admit to her solving problems when she said, "What I learned about myself is when I was younger, I was not a good problem solver, meaning I had a difficult time with dealing with my problems in life. But today I have my wisdom, my heart, and my conscience as the only tools to overcome life's inevitable obstacles. I have become a good problem solver with those tools, and I am damn proud." But imagine your husband and kids having to teach you about having to solve problems better because your approach at life was driving them nuts. Number 7, the controversial photo. Back when Willow Smith was only 13 years old, a controversial photo of Willow began to spread across social media as she was shown lying on a bed next to then 20-year-old actor and photographer Moses Arias. While she was shirtless, many people then started to voice their concern about the photo as they thought it was wildly inappropriate, especially considering Willow was very much underage and hanging out with someone who wasn't. Children's services and then the police got involved, and Jada would then come to her daughter's defense by supporting the photo after she said that TMZ was blowing the photo way out of proportion. Jada would then go on to say, "There's nothing sexual about that picture or the situation. You guys are projecting your trash onto it and you're acting like cover pedophiles. That's not cool." To make matters even worse, there were also people who started to agree with Jada. However, this whole situation was just really creepy, you have to admit that. Number 6, fat shames. Just after the infamous Oscar slap that took place, fans started to deep dive the internet and they started to dig up whatever they could find in regards to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship. When Will Smith was set to star alongside Margot Robbie in the 2015 film Focus, let's be honest, Margot Robbie can outshine just about anyone, not just Will Smith, as the actor is one of the best actors in this generation. When Margot made her first encounter alongside Will, it apparently wasn't the greatest experience, because when Jada found out about the casting choice, she embarrassed her husband by fat shaming him and urged him to get into shape because she didn't want him to embarrass her. When he revealed a bit of information while promoting the film, he would say, "When Margot got hired for the gig, Jada saw Margot was young and hot and in shape and said, 'Boy, don't embarrass me, get in shape now.' She's like, 'Don't let that girl smash you on screen.'" But Will has always been in good shape, and the fact she doesn't think her husband is an absolute snack is a complete sin. Number 5, took herself to the red table. In the aftermath of August Alsina's bombshell interview, Jada would admit that there was some healing that needed to take place, and she tweeted that she would be the subject of her next red table talk. She would then force Will to also make an appearance on the episode to share his side of the story. And he would just take everything in as she lied about being temporarily separated from Will when she had her affair with August. The couple then went on to reveal that they also reunited after August was out of the picture because Will and Jada realized they just couldn't stay away from each other. With the clip going viral quickly, Jada just kept repeating the word entanglement rather than using the word affair, and she quickly became an online target for jokes, as did a picture that supposedly showed Will in tears because this show embarrassed him to a T. Number 4, bad hygiene. Because Jada Pinkett Smith loves to use natural products, especially when it comes to her toothpaste, body wash, lotion, and deodorant, she has a bit of a problem when it comes to finding a deodorant and other things that help her smell pleasant. This even got to the point that Hey Humans heard about Jada's problems, that they even sent her formulations of their products so she could try them out. As before, she was having such a hard time finding natural deodorant that her kids kept urging her to use lemon under her armpits so they wouldn't smell her. She would even keep telling them that's not enough odor protection, so instead she just didn't use anything, and it would drive everyone in her family nuts. Also, considering that the roles she's usually casted in cause her to be pretty close to people while doing high impact activity, people on screen with her constantly have to hold their breath or imagine they were in a subway, which just isn't a good look if you think about it. Number 3, bad parenting. So before I get into the bad parenting aspect, I think it's worth mentioning that Will and Jada's kids once freaked out Sony executives to the point they emailed Will about the issues, and he just responded by saying everyone just disses his kids. However, Sony isn't the only ones to question Jada's and Will's parenting, as when Willow was pictured in bed with a 20-year-old man in 2014, it would spark a police investigation. Radar Online would then post an article where they would state the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services were looking into the snap of Willow, who was 13 at the time, that was posted online and then later deleted. Will and Jada were extremely cooperative with officials, but they weren't so happy that their parenting skills were under scrutiny. Jada would then break her silence about the issues and would say that there was nothing wrong with the picture or the situation. Number 2. Shames people about their money. Back in 2017, in her Showtime comedy special, She's Ready from Hood to Hollywood, Tiffany Haddish would open up about how she used to carry around fake designer handbags, and how her girl trip co-star Jada Pinkett Smith made fun of her for it after she experienced a wardrobe malfunction involving one. When Tiffany was hanging out with Jada and Queen Latifah, they were walking around and out of nowhere, the Michael Kors lock on her purse melted off and it hit the ground. Jada then proceeded to ask the comedian, Tiffany, what kind of bag is that? And Tiffany told her it was a Martin Luther King bag and it was free at last. We breaking chains in this thing, girl. That's what type of bag this is. Jada then went on to make fun of Tiffany by saying, Tiffany, you cannot be walking around here with knockoff bags anymore. You have to wear designer stuff. When this movie comes out, you're gonna be considered an A-list actress, and you cannot be walking around here with fake stuff. Tiffany then put Jada in her place by saying, well, until I can afford the real thing, I'm gonna be rocking the fake things, and I have no problem with that, Jada. And coming in number 1 today, we have jumps into drama. When Jordyn Woods was making headlines for destroying Khloe Kardashian's relationship after it was revealed that she and Tristan Thompson hooked up at a party, Jada jumped right onto the chance to bring her on the show to hear her story. In the episode, Jordyn would then break her silence, and she denied all the gossip and claims that things were actually blown out of proportion. In the episode, Jordyn would tell Jada that she knew she would have gone home after the party, but what people were saying about her giving the NBA player a lap dance and making out with him wasn't true, and she did not once go into a bedroom or a bathroom, as they were just in plain sight. With the interview igniting a Twitter firestorm just like Jada wanted, it would cause Khloe to claim that her former family friend was lying. It seems like whenever something big happens, Jada jumps to put herself through the mix. It's almost like she's trying to be Jeffree Star.